Welcome to this free immigration help channel. Today is August 7, 2023 and we are getting into the volume 145 of me answering your immigration related questions. As always, before beginning this video, as I mentioned in every video, I'm going to mention here, I'm not an immigration attorney. This is not a legal advice. All the information provided in these videos on this channel are directly from official government sources, USCIS, Department of State, and that's really most of the times what we use on this channel. Okay, so let's start with the very first comment. Question from Kuya Toto TV 6676. Sir, good day. How long you wait for schedule petition visa? So that was a question on the I-130 interview questions. So I'm assuming that's how long you wait for the interview whenever it comes to alien petition for alien relative to I-130 petition. So thank you very much for your question, comment. Whenever it comes to waiting on I-130, there's a lot of factors that need to be taken into consideration. First of all, we have the availability of the immigrant visa once the I-130 is approved. Is it immediate relative category, or is it one of the family preference categories that has to do with the backlog that has to be waiting for the priority date to become current and for the immigrant visa to become available? Depending on this, also depending on which service center your I-130 goes to, if it's immediate relative, it's processed pretty quickly, but still there is some administrative processing with USCIS. If the immigrant visa is not immediately available, in that case, USCIS, they're a little bit more relaxed whenever it comes to I-130, so they wait a little bit longer. And once the I-130 is approved, they send it to the NVC, then you have the whole process of becoming documentarily qualified. Once you're documentarily qualified, you are waiting for the availability of the immigrant visa. If you're one of the 4 family preference categories, or if it's immediate relative category, then the immigrant visa is available and the only thing you're waiting for is for the interview to be scheduled. So with all of that being said, if you want a little bit more personalized answer to your question, how long in your situation you will be waiting, let me know what the category is, or is it an immediate relative category, is it one of the 4 family preference categories, what the chargeability area is, because there's 4 countries that have their own separate chargeability area, and then there is the rest of the world, so that plays an important role as well. And then of course the priority date, if the I-130 is not filed yet, I will obviously count from now, but priority date, if it was filed already, then you can definitely makes it much easier to give some rough estimates. Okay, so let me post a response here and we're gonna move on to the next question comment from Paramaman9054. My case F2A, priority date 5th May 2021, documentarily qualified date 28 May 23. I'm waiting interview letter for Mumbai Embassy. So Paramaman, sorry, it's YouTube. They, instead of giving me names, they're now giving me handles. First of all, congratulations on being documentarily qualified, which was quite recent. It was like three months ago. So that's even less than that. Definitely a huge step. So let's take a look at F2A. I know F2A, we've been a little bit disappointed. Everyone, I'm saying we, it's me and everyone who's subscribed to this channel, who's watching my videos, with the F2A category, because it retrogressed in the August 2023 Visa Bulletin edition. So let's take a look and see what it looks like as of right now. You're in 2021 and Mumbai, if my geography is correct, it's in India. So India has a separate chargeability area. So let's take a look. Actually, it doesn't matter because India is the same date as the rest of the world, which is good. So F2A looks like right now people are, the immigrant visas are becoming available for people that have their priority dates back in October 2017. October 2017. And your priority date, this is wrong, there you go. Your priority date is in May 21. So May 21, let me close this, we don't need that. So May 21 and 17, that's roughly October 17 is roughly 4 years. So you're roughly looking at another 4 years before the availability of the immigrant visa. Hopefully we will see some movement on the F2A. Honestly, it was, it was a shock for a lot of people, this retrogression, specifically for the F2A. And it's kind of sad to see the F2A category retrogress that much, because the F2A category was, for the most part, always current. And it's understandable. So I think it should be, because it's, spouses and children of permanent residents. So it's really sad to see it go back so much. But on the plus side, you were already documentarily qualified. I would recommend staying on top of the visa bulletin. Hopefully we will see some positive movement. All we can do at this point in time is just hope for some positive movement on the visa bulletin, and that's really it. And then, of course, as I always recommend, if you have a petition for alien relative, if you do have a family reunification case going, make sure to look into other avenues of giving your relatives, whoever you're petitioning for, the ability to come into the United States, at least so that you guys can meet, to be together, at least, maybe not as a permanent resident, but at least on a visitor visa or something along those lines. Honestly, I really hope that either Congress or Department of Homeland Security one day they will implement a visa category, non-immigrant visa category, that is specifically for people that have family reunification petitions basically waiting for their priority dates to become current on one of these family preference categories. But we'll see. But as of right now, roughly 4 years. Like I said, hopefully we'll see some positive movement next month. We'll see. Okay, next comment from Aman Santi. Aman, thank you very much for being publicly subscribed. This is what the icon means. Really appreciate it. So Aman says, my priority date is July 2020, documentarily qualified July 2023. Okay, how many time more, I guess, waiting for interview letter for Mumbai India Embassy? Okay, so it's definitely, Mumbai is definitely in India. Aman, thank you very much for confirming that. And looks like Aman is also, in Mumbai waiting for the interview letter. Okay, so you are, Aman, you are in 2020 now. So 2020 to 2017, you're roughly 3 years away from the availability of the immigrant visas. Again, the same answer that I gave to Parama, man, same thing. Hopefully we will see some positive movement on September visa bulletin edition, which we should see probably in the next week or two. The new visa bulletin should be coming up. Hopefully we will see some movement. But so far, we are all, me too, I did not expect it to be retrogressing that much. I honestly, I cannot understand why it happened, because we already seen it retrogress quite a lot, and I thought that was the full scope of the problem that was caused by pandemic and the closures and no immigrant visas issued, right? Backlog accumulating. I thought we already seen that, but now there's more retrogression. Honestly, I don't know if it's from the pandemic or what it is from. I'm not sure. So all we can do is just monitor the visa bulletins and compare them and stay on top of them, and that's really it, unfortunately. Okay, moving further to Carlos Alberto. Carlos Alberto says, simply awesome. God bless you, friend. Carlos, thank you very much. I appreciate it. I'm glad this was helpful. God bless. And moving further to Ipoli Masango 2441. Ipoli, thank you for another comment. So Ipoli says, thanks, sir. I really do appreciate your response. I will go and check the video on documentarily qualified. God bless you. God bless you, Ipoli. Good luck with your documentary qualification process. And once you're done, please come back to this channel and let us all know how it went. Okay, moving further to Magid Hosni 0000. If I file the application by mail, not online, will it be free? No fee. So that was a question posted on I-765 application for employment authorization. So Magid, no, unfortunately, that's not how it works. If you are sending it by mail, you still have to pay for it, and you can pay either using a check, a money order, or you can send one of those credit card authorization forms and authorize basically, you know, the person who is opening up your application package to charge, to make a charge to your credit card. But honestly, you know, especially now that you know that you still have to pay, I would definitely recommend filing this form online, because it makes it much easier. It prevents a lot of mistakes that you can make in a paper application, because they review the paper application a little bit stricter. They have a little stricter regulation. I don't think the stricter is more strict, I think the word is. My English is, you know, need to work on it. But yes, so you prevent a lot of mistakes that are, you know, you can make in the paper application, and also it makes it so much faster, because you know, once you pay it online, the application is immediately submitted and it's immediately right there, basically ready for review, compared to, you know, the paper application package. Okay, so let me post a response here, and we're gonna move on further to the next comment question from K Krish Nan 8824. F22, priority date March 2020, documentarily qualified April 2023. Congratulations. My final action date is current at the time of documentary qualify, and I got a letter from NVC to wait till interview is scheduled. But in August it is not current. Do I need to wait for it to be to current? And my CSPA will over soon. Do this change my category to F2B? Ooh, I see. Okay, so unfortunately, yes. And honestly, that is ridiculous, I think, but that's how it is, unfortunately. And yes, you do have to wait for it to become current again. If it keeps going back, if it keeps on retrogressing, they say that, oh, well, because it went back, you know. I know someone who already had their interview scheduled for an immigrant visa. And then it retrogressed on the visa bulletin, so it was no longer current, and they received a notice from US Embassy saying that basically we're canceling your interview date and you have to wait for your immigrant visa to become current once again. It's ridiculous. It's stupid, because, you know, the embassy could have issued the immigrant visa and moved along, and it wouldn't change anything. But now they're canceling it. Anyway, I'm not gonna get into this rant. The system is ridiculous. It really is ridiculous. So I'm sorry you're dealing with this. As for the CSPA, yes, it's definitely a concern, because whenever it comes to 4 family preference categories, it's not the same as with immediate relative category, where the age freezes and that's it. With the 4 family preference categories, yes, you can definitely age out. Now, you probably, if you're not, you know, since you are aware of CSPA, you already know that, you know, you can subtract the amount of time that I-130 was pending with USCIS. Problem is, most of the times you know, I-130 doesn't really take that long. Compared to the length of waiting for the availability of the immigrant visa, it doesn't take that long to be processed with USCIS. Most of the time, it's like, you know, 6 months, maybe a year. So that's really all you can subtract from, you know, from your total age. But yes, you are correct. If you're not able, you know, if the priority date does not become current and you are not able to get that immigrant visa by the time you age out of that the Child Status Protection Act age, basically, that they allow you to, with the subtraction of the amount of time that the I-130 was pending, yes, your category will be switched, and obviously based on that new category you will have a new backlog to deal with. So K. Krishnan, I really hope that, you know, you can fall within that CSPA and you have enough time. If you can, you know, keep, I'm sure a lot of people would be, you know, interested to hear your situation and what's going on. So if you can, please provide updates. And if you do have any questions along the way, you're always welcome to ask them on this channel. Okay, so let me post the response here. And actually, before I move on, so you're in F2A right now, you March 2020, already documentarily qualified, but now since it retrogressed, it's now October 2017. So you're roughly looking at another 3 years based on the new visa bulletin. So a lot of people are gotten messed up by this retrogression of the F2A, and yeah, I'm really am interested to see what's going to happen on the September visa bulletin. It's going to be an important one. Okay, let's move on to the next question. Comment from Yao 3718. My second question. Okay, so I guess we will start with this one. Thank you for the feedback. Finally got the welcome letter to have the portal open. Congratulations. Am in F11 category, F1, that is F1 subcategory of F1. The DS260 form is not populating the aspect to allow me fill out my previous education records after choosing my primary occupation. That's how the DS260, because it is one of those built-in online forms, yeah, it is a little finicky. It only comes up when I choose homemaker, which isn't my occupation. Already sent a public inquiry to NVC. What should I do? Okay, yeah, so I would recommend sending a public inquiry to the NVC just to see if they can fill it out for you. Sometimes they can do that, but play around with it and see if you can make it work. That's really the only recommendation I can give you. It isn't built-in online form, so it is a little bit like you can't dictate what you're filling in. It's the form dictates what you can fill in. So some things it likes, some things it doesn't like. The good thing about the DS260 is that it's merely basically an appointment application. That's really all it is. Yes, of course, the information that is provided on it is very important, but even if it's not as accurate as as you wanted it to be, you can always have additional information, and especially because you send the public inquiry to NVC, you can bring that with you as well, including their response to the interview, and then say, hey, when it comes to DS260, I was filling that out, and the online form did not allow me to put that in. So here separately, I wanted to, if in case if that question comes up, if it doesn't come up, then no big deal. But in case it comes up, just have it in a separate folder, prepared your printout of your public inquiry, their response, and what you tried to enter into the DS260 and it didn't allow you. That's really the best that we can do. Okay, and your second question is, if I finally get documentarily qualified and NVC accept my documents, is it possible to have my interview before the final action date is due? I'm in the F111, so it's F11 basically, visa category. So yeah, no, unfortunately you cannot do that. Your visa, your priority date has to be current if you're one of the four, family preference categories, because basically that current status of the priority date, it dictates the availability of the immigrant visa, and that's the only time that U.S. Embassy can schedule your appointment for the immigrant visa. So let me post the responses here, and we're gonna move on further. Looks like from Sunrise GP30AM, once again we got a comment question. Sunrise, thank you for another comment, always appreciate it. So Sunrise says, thank you again for answering my question. You're very welcome, and be patient with me. Of course, I don't have to do anything because I will keep sending questions till finish my processing documents. Hey, you're more than welcome. I have a few questions. In form I-864 in part 5 about household size, when I answer not typing, so can I do it by hand? Because either way I have to print it and do the signature in black ink. Yes, absolutely. So the I-864, if I remember correctly and if nothing changed, unlike the DS260 that is built into the portal and you have to fill it out online, the I-864, yes, you can also fill it out on the computer with using the PDF, Adobe, Acrobat, whatever, and then print it out and then fill out the rest with the black ink, and then scan it and upload it to the NVC portal. So it's not built into the NVC portal. It's on there, you can download it from there, but it's not built in. So you can definitely do that. Okay, number 2, can I send the form I-864 by mail instead? What is the address? So no, I mean, listen, probably there is a way to send it by mail, but I would highly recommend doing it through the NVC portal. Just, print it out, fill it out, scan it, and then upload it through the NVC portal. In fact, I think you have to do that. I don't think you have an option to send it by mail. I might be wrong. But even if there is an option to send it by mail, I would not recommend doing that. I would recommend just scanning it and then uploading it through the NVC portal, because there is actually a separate section. You can see it right now in the portal. It's there, I-864 affidavit of support, where you have to upload your completed affidavit of support. So maybe there is a way to send it by mail and they upload it for you, but there is no point of doing that. It's going to be a huge waste of time when you can just scan it and upload it immediately. There is really no point of doing so. So definitely use the online feature for that. And then the question 3, I fill out I-864A about me as a household. Can my dad fill the same form as household 2? Because my mom petitioner for one of the son, and my dad, he will be petitioner to another son. His filing date is November 2017. I don't know if it will affect him as a petitioner in future, or can fill out I-864A separately like mine. Please help me, because I am afraid not to do any mistake and deny my brother case after waiting for more than 12 years. Yeah, that's why I have to be careful. Thank you so much for helping people. Sunrise, you're very welcome. That's it's a blessing for me to be able to, if you find my answers helpful. So whenever it comes to the household size, I don't think I understand your question completely, maybe partly. So you can't have, if I understand it correctly, what you're trying to do, what you're suggesting, you can't have the household size divided between husband and wife unless they are separated, they are divorced, they're living in separate households. Meaning that one has a separate address and another one has separate address. Maybe there is a way when they live together, if they're separated or divorced or something along those lines, and they're sharing the same address, maybe there is a way to do that. But that's because that now we are talking about tax qualifications or whatever, how IRS basically sees the household, right? But most likely, it's a husband and wife and they're living in the same household. It's going to be one household. Now, whenever it comes to petitioning for, for beneficiaries, it's going to be a household of, let's say it's just your mom and your dad, right? Husband and wife. It's going to be filling out, let's say if you're, let's just do it as an example, right? Let's say your dad is the petitioner for you, for example. Your mom is the petitioner for your brother. It really doesn't matter, because both of them at the moment, right now, are the household of 2, and they're petitioning for 2 people. It does not matter whether it's your dad petitioning or your mom petitioning. At the moment, there's 2 petitions, meaning that they should be able, well, let's just say it's just 2. Maybe there's somebody else living in a household, but I'm just giving you an example. Let's say it's just 2 of them. 1 petitions for you, 1 petitions for your brother. They're petitioning for 2 people, and it's a household of 2, which is what they will be putting in the affidavit of support. Right now it's a household of 2, but it will be counted as a household of 4. For these petitions to be successful, for both your mom and your dad to be successful sponsors for you guys, basically, for who they are petitioning. The household of 4. So they have, both of them together combined, have to show enough income to support the household of 4, because it's the household of 2 petitioning for 2 beneficiaries, if that makes sense. I do have the video on the minimum income. You can find them on USCIS. In fact, let me do that. All you have to do is from this website, uscis.gov, official government website for U.S. citizenship and immigration services. You just type in the search poverty guidelines 2023. There you go. It immediately comes up. And this is it right here. The very first result. And you can see poverty guidelines for affidavit of support. So we have separate for Alaska, separate for Hawaii, and then for all the 48 other states. So let's see, household of 4, and you're going to be looking at 125, unless for sponsors on active duty in the U.S. Armed Forces who are petitioning for their spouse or child. If that's the case, then you're looking at this one 100%. If not, then 125. So currently for the sponsors, household size of 4, as in our example, 37,500 annual combined income, and that's gross income. That's not net income. So it's not after all the expenses, unless of course it's 1099 and we are dealing with business owners. Then that's a whole different shebang. But you can check out that video. I do have the video on the minimum income requirement for the affidavit of support. Check it out, because it's a little bit tricky to calculate, honestly. But at the end of the day, it still comes down for the decision of the NVC, the people that are reviewing. So just do your best and hope for the best. And if the problems come up along the way, then address them one step at a time. Okay, moving further, user YX just says hello. Moving further to Sun and Stars 2. Yes, I'm the petitioner, US citizen. Yeah, so we'll still keep moving along, and he will have a visa available once approved. All right, that sounds like a plan. And moving further to the next one, looks like a couple of questions from Asukuojiboegdo. Probably, sorry about that. Thanks to YouTube, I see handles now instead of names. So, this user asks, my priority date is May 23, 2020, and there's no other comments. And when do I expect my documentary qualification? Okay, so if you can, Asuko, that's what I'll call this person. Asuko, if you can, please let me know what the family preference category is. Let me know again once again in a separate comment, priority date, and then the chargeability area. So these are the 3 things, and that goes for everyone. If you want some rough estimates, some rough predictions for the availability of the immigrant visa, so that I can look at the visa bulletin and let you know roughly when you can expect the availability of the immigrant visa or the NVC portal opening up, when you can be documentarily qualified, I need to know your family preference category. That's number 1. Your priority date, that's number 2. That's when the I-130 was filed, accepted by USCIS. And number 3 is the chargeability area. Also, to know whether you're already documentarily qualified or not helps, but not required. So please let me know. I would really appreciate it. And for everyone, if you are responding to my request for additional information, or you have some kind of follow-up questions, comments, let me know in a separate comment. Don't respond to my comment within your comment, because YouTube does not send me those notifications. For some reason, they don't show up here. Okay, let's do another one for today from Basir Kashani 2162. Couple of questions as well, couple of comments. I'll start with the second one right here. Hi sir, my priority date is 29 December 2017, visa class F2B. Chargeability area Afghanistan. If my mother gets citizen, I convert to F1. How long NVC portal will open? I received welcome letter 2 years ago. And one thing more, sir, when I was submitting case to USCIS, my brother sent my original birth certificate to USCIS. Ooh, by mail. I have only copy of my certificate. Will NVC accept that copy, or USCIS was send the original one to NVC? Wow, that's not good. Okay, don't worry, Basir. We'll go as one step at a time. Yeah, but that's not good. So for everyone, never send original documents to USCIS. Never send original documents to anyone. Only send copies. If they do require notarized, just do it notarized, but never send the originals, because they most of the times, and probably in this case as well, they don't return those documents. That's it. The original one is gone, most likely. I would be surprised if you get it back. But let's start with one thing at a time. Let's start with a priority date in December 2017, and it's F2B Afghanistan, so it's all chargeability area. Let's take a look. We got F2B, So I don't know if you were, I don't think you said your portal is still closed. So let's take a look at how long till the availability of the immigrant visa first. So F2B, we got all chargeability area on September 2015, and you are December 2017. So you are roughly 2 years away from the availability of the immigrant visa, roughly 2 years. And then let's take a look at the graph B, which tells us when the NVC portal is going to be opening up fully so that you can start your documentary qualification process. It is on January 2017, and you are December 2017. Okay, so January 2017 and you're December 2017, so roughly about a year, a little bit less than a year you have before the NVC portal fully opens up so that you can start your documentary qualification process. Okay, so that's number one. We figured out the date. Number two, now your issue with the birth certificate. What you can do, I would recommend trying to do is sending the letter to USAS and making a good, nice cover letter, addressing it to the same place, same service center where the initial I-130 went to. You said it's your brother sent it to the USCIS. So I'm assuming your parent filed it here, your mother, she filed for you, she petitioned for you here in the US, and I guess your brother maybe was helping with the petition and he was sending the documents and he sent the original birth certificate. So wherever he sent it to USCIS obviously, but I'm talking about which service center. I would recommend sending a cover letter to and saying in the cover letter, mentioning all the case details. The USCIS receipt number, that should be on the receipt, on the original receipt, all the NVC information, the case number, all of the information when it was sent, and letting them know that by mistake, instead of sending a copy of the birth certificate, the original birth certificate was sent, and if there is a way for them to return that document back. If it's possible, great. If it's not possible, then I would recommend starting to look into the options where you can get one of those original copies of the birth certificate. So basically, if the original birth certificate was lost, stolen, or sent to someone you're not supposed to send it to, you go to the authority, and obviously if your birth certificate is from Afghanistan, then obviously it is the government body in Afghanistan that is responsible for issuing those birth certificates. You would have to talk to them and see what is required in order for you to get that copy, the original copy of the birth certificate in there, because you're definitely going to need it to provide for the documentary qualification process. But even more importantly, you have to bring the original birth certificate with you to the interview. And I don't worry as much about the documentary qualification process, because during the documentary qualification process you can just upload the copy, the scanned version of your birth certificate that you no longer have. But whenever it comes to going to the embassy, you have to bring an original birth certificate. So in that, by that time, I would definitely recommend trying to get that original copy, which is what they call it, when you lost the original, then you go and you get from the same issuing body the same thing. And then the last thing that I wanted to address in your comment is switching from F2B to F1. Yes, you can definitely do that, and a lot of times it's a little bit of a gamble. So keep in mind, stay on top of the visa bulletin and compare it between the two, because as of right now, we got F2B on September 15 and F1 is on January 15. So right now, people with priority dates in January 2015 on F1, they're becoming current, but they're not yet current on the F2B. All right. So that wasn't always the case. Sometimes F2B is doing better, sometimes it's F1 doing better. So I would recommend not rushing with that decision and staying on top of the visa bulletin, checking it every month, and closer to the availability of the immigrant visa. If you see that overall F1 is doing better than F2B, then yes, go ahead and switch. It doesn't take too long. You do it through the NVC. In fact, once your mother becomes a US citizen, most likely you will get a notification from NVC saying that, hey, our records indicate that your parent is now US citizen. Do you want to switch? And obviously, it's nice to have that option, but again, it's a little bit of a gamble because one of them, it might do better than the other, and it was always like this between the F2B and F1. Okay, so thank you very much everyone for all your questions, comments today. Always appreciate them. Hopefully my answers were helpful. If you do have any follow-up questions, don't hesitate to ask them. I will only be happy to receive them. As always, thanks for your time. God bless, and I'll see you all in the next video.